How did your dog prove your parents wrong? When I was 15, my parents thought our rescue pit bull Zeus was dangerous and needed to go back to the shelter. They'd adopted him for me after months of begging, but changed their minds after he growled at my uncle during dinner. Dad kept saying Zeus was aggressive and unpredictable. Mom was convinced he'd eventually bite someone and we'd get sued. They gave me exactly 2 weeks to find him a new home, where he was going back to the pound. I tried everything to prove Zeus was gentle, had him sit, stay, play fetch perfectly in front of them. I brought out his favorite toys to show how sweet he was with kids. I even had my friend Emma come over to demonstrate how calm he was with strangers. But my parents just saw a scary 70-pound dog with a reputation who couldn't be trusted around normal people. The breaking point came when Zeus snapped at my Uncle Rick during Sunday dinner. Uncle Rick had been teasing him with food, holding a piece of chicken just out of reach while Zeus sat patiently. When Zeus finally jumped for it, Uncle Rick jerked his hand away and Zeus accidentally caught his finger with his teeth. It wasn't even a real bite, just a scratch. But Uncle Rick started yelling about dangerous animals and lawsuits. Dad was furious. "That's it," he said. "Zeus goes back tomorrow. I can't have a liability living in my house." The mom agreed, saying she never felt safe anyway. No amount of crying or pleading would change their minds, but then something happened that changed everything. Our neighbor, Mr. Patterson, had been making me uncomfortable for weeks. He was this creepy 40-year-old guy who lived alone and always seemed to be watching our house. He'd lean over the fence when I was in the backyard, making weird comments about me growing up and asking personal questions about when my parents worked. I told my mom and dad about it multiple times, but they just said he was being neighborly and I was overreacting. The day before Zeus was supposed to go back to the shelter, I was doing homework at our patio table when Patterson climbed over our backyard fence. I'd never seen him actually come into our yard before. My heart started pounding as he walked toward me, smiling in this creepy way. "Hey there, sweetheart," he said, looking around to make sure we were alone. "Your parents aren't home right now, are they? I thought maybe we could have a little chat, just the two of us." He kept getting closer and I could smell alcohol on his breath. I was completely frozen with fear. I couldn't move or scream or do anything. That's when Zeus shot out of our back door like a rocket. He didn't attack or bite Patterson. Instead, he planted himself directly between me and the creep, standing completely motionless but showing every single tooth in his head. The growl that came out of his chest was the most terrifying sound I'd ever heard. Patterson stopped dead in his tracks. Zeus didn't move toward him or lunge or anything aggressive. He just stood there like a furry wall of protection, making it crystal clear that getting any closer to me would be the biggest mistake of Patterson's life. Patterson backed away slowly, his hands up, mumbling about just wanting to talk. Zeus stayed perfectly positioned between us, never taking his eyes off the threat. When Patterson finally climbed back over the fence, Zeus watched until he was completely gone, then immediately turned around and licked my face like nothing had happened. When I told my parents what happened, they didn't believe me at first. Dad said I was making up stories to save Zeus. Mom thought I was being dramatic about a friendly neighbor, but then we checked our security camera system. The footage showed everything. Patterson climbing the fence, approaching me while I was clearly scared. Zeus's perfect protective response, and Patterson retreating when faced with a dog who was defending his family. You could see Patterson's creepy intentions written all over his face. Dad watched that video 3 times in complete silence before looking down at Zeus and saying, "Good boy, you're staying forever." Mom started crying and apologizing to Zeus, calling him our guardian angel. Now they tell everyone how their scary rescue pit bull saved their daughter from a predator without using any violence. Zeus never had to prove himself again. He earned his place in our family by showing my parents the difference between aggression and protection.